Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whenever or wherever you're watching this. My name is BystanderTim, and I'm here with Bloody Hell. This is an indie game that just came out in January of this year, and it's from a relatively obscure dev team. If you take away anything from this run, this video game is free on Steam, and you should go play it. Before we start the run, though, I actually wanted to direct this right at Konception. I'm not only here to speedrun this game, I'm here to throw a little bit of chaos into the upcoming bid war for Loom. Could I get a look at what our donation total is at?
Total for the bid wars?
Yeah.
The bid war? Yes, currently, Save the Shepherds is leading 3,063 to 2,202 for Leave the Shepherds.
Already. This run is really short. I'm talking that 15-minute estimate is very accurate. I'm gonna put it up to you, chat. I wanna see that Leave the Shepherds side get a little bit closer, and I wanna do it in this 15 minutes. So let's take the hype from this run and we're gonna put it into that bid war, and we're gonna leave the Shepherds behind, hopefully. With that, time is gonna start when I make a new game. So can I get a countdown for the crowd? Let's go. Alrighty. So the premise of Bloody Hell is pretty simple. You are a duck, bird, dove? I'm not entirely sure, and I'll be honest, neither are the devs. Sent by God to kill Satan. That's the entire premise. So here's God. You probably never thought that God would look like this to a duck, but here we are. And as soon as we get through this opening monologue here, we're gonna get right into the game. And as soon as we get into the game, we're getting into all the different mechanics available. So immediately you're gonna notice is that this game is a top-down shooter. Many people like to equate it to something like Enter the Gungeon, and it's going to feel very similar in its combat. We're gonna immediately get into a first combat section here. So you're gonna notice that these enemies will fire bullets at you, and all we can do right now is move around and fire back. And that's that first combat section through. So we're gonna immediately be going into another combat section, and I'm gonna talk about a lot of different things that we're gonna be using in the run. So first things first, this is entirely intentional. I'm about to take a hit here. And the game is gonna teach us about the rage mechanic. Essentially, the game equates dealing damage and taking damage with this currency called rage in the skull over here. And we're gonna need a bit of rage for something coming up. So we're gonna take 2 intentional hits here. And we were hoping to get a little bit lucky and get a rage heart, but it seems that the game disagreed. And now we're gonna get the dash here. This is where those Gungeon conversations get in, as this animation is very similar to Enter the Gungeon. But we're gonna use that dash for a little bit later. I am going to make a save point right there and then immediately save and quit to heal. And then we are going to move on to another in-between section right before the boss. And as I did before, as I took 2 intentional hits, I'm gonna take 2 intentional hits here again. The goal here is to get our ultimate ability. And now, normally you're able to skip this ultimate animation, but it is pretty dependent on how the bullet spread goes. If you roll into a bullet and then take damage, you are able to skip that. Now we have the first boss fight of the game. His name is Porkchop. Unfortunately for Porkchop, if we come over here and aim at 3 o'clock, we can completely skip the first boss fight. So I'm gonna take another reset point right here, and then we're gonna immediately heal and get back on our way. So I've already mentioned combat a little bit. We're about to get into a much higher intensity combat section right here. But first, the game is gonna take an opportunity, if you see where my reticle is, to introduce us to these exploding beetles. Obviously, get too close, they blow up. We're gonna take advantage of that. So there's gonna be these explosive beetles interspersed into the mix of the enemies that we see here. And what we're gonna try and do is push them as close as we can to the other enemies in order to get them to blow up. And if we're lucky, we'll get them to blow up right in front of a bunch of different enemies, which is a big time save for these combat sections. Combat optimization becomes this really, really specific dance. And now we're gonna get into probably the toughest combat section of the game right here. There are 2 waves of about 8 to 10 enemies here, and it's all sorts of different types of enemies. We have the pigs from earlier, we have the exploding beetles, and we're gonna have some of these eye demons. One of the most devious spawns in the game actually comes right here for this speedrun, that the devs are gonna stick an eye demon right in the top left corner of the screen. So we wanna watch out for that. I'm literally like, just so I intend to hit it, I'm popping in here just so I can hit this eye demon and take it out of the way. The other thing to note is this vulture right here. This vulture is really, really tough because he's gonna spin around, and anytime he bumps into an object, he's gonna make this spread pattern over here. So it's really, really important to keep track of where this vulture is while being focused on the other enemies. And we're gonna take out this last eye, and we should be done here. So now we have another ultimate skip as before. I am just a little bit low on rage. Luckily, an enemy spawned a rage heart, which gives me the last rage I need. So now we're gonna peek ourselves into this corner, and we're gonna do another ultimate skip here. So the ultimate skips are really, really interesting because what is normally meant for combat becomes a really, really interesting way for traversal. And it all depends on how Asriel is oriented. So a lot of times you'll see me start by aiming one direction and then immediately pivoting somewhere else. That's because I need to wedge Asriel into whatever I'm trying to clip through in order to get the reticle for the attack out of bounds. So now we're gonna dodge roll into this lily pad and we're gonna save and quit. You might be wondering, why did I do that? Well, I've just solved combat for the rest of the run. I'm not gonna tell you why. I'm actually gonna give it to Konception for a donation while we move on to the next boss fight.
Asking ye shall receive $66.66 from Pun Intended. So awesome to watch people speedrun our student project, Bloody Hell. Godspeed to BystanderTim, and good luck to all the other runners.
Thank you so much. The dev team at Pun Intended is incredibly awesome. It's very rare that for any game I speedrun, I could talk directly to the dev team and have a one-on-one conversation. So, you might be wondering, how'd that happen? Well, that's the direct result of dodge rolling onto that lily pad. So, as the dev team just chimed in, the answer I got directly from them is they're not entirely certain why this is happening either. But the best explanation of what is happening is that, if you noticed before while I was doing combat, Asriel fires in a very specific rate, like a normal weapon kind of rate. However, dodge rolling on a lily pad has this effect of canceling out that reload animation. So all of a sudden, I'm firing the same pea shooter I had at the beginning of the game, but I'm never reloading in between rounds, which turns our pea shooter into a minigun. So now we're heading to another respawn point, and this is going to become a more common respawn point than the other ones in the game. We're actually going to be saving quitting here 2 more times in order to use this as a bit of a hub area, because we need to go up, but then once we go up, we're going to have to go back down. We actually need a few upgrades. This game has Metroidvania mechanics, very similar of like the old game design of, hey, I have this thing in front of me that I cannot see, or I cannot see and I cannot deal with. So I must need a new ability in order to get to it. We need 3 abilities. We have 2 of them right now, which is the dash, the double dash, and the grapple. And we're on our way to get the grapple right now. We have a bit of movement here, and I can talk about the double dash. The double dash is the fastest form of movement in the game, pretty much. It is debatable whether or not the single dash versus just walking around is faster, but the double dash makes bigger strides really, really easily. Now, we're going to come on to our 3rd ultimate skip of the run right here. This time on a little lily pad. That's a lot of L's. This time, I'm going to aim here, and then I'm going to aim into this corner. And there we go. And I've got the 3rd ultimate skip in the run right there. There is a fun little strat there that involves, from that transition, clipping out of bounds from the floor instead of getting on the lily pad. It's really, really cool. And some of the higher skilled runners definitely show off their mastery of that ultimate ability with how they can completely weave through a room using it. So now we have another combat section here. This is the only real time you're going to see this mechanic here, these sort of eye sentries. Just like every other combat section in the run, it's very, very easy to get blindsided all of a sudden by a laser from completely off screen. So it's best to just keep your eyes on a swivel, especially when you're dealing with some of these higher intensity areas. So now we have the grapple, and we're gonna save quit, and we're gonna head back to that save point I just pointed out earlier. Now we're heading towards the end game, the end game area called the depths. And while we get there, I'm gonna throw it to Konception for another donation.
You got it. We have $15 from Callie Pepper saying, Australian hours are the best hours, weird games are the best games. Could not agree more. Another quick one, $25 from Strider saying, Tim, is the player character a dove or a pigeon? Tell us the truth.
I think it's a dove. It's supposed to be like a heavenly aspect kind of thing, and everybody equates doves with like peace. I'm still not entirely sure. I literally joined the Bloody Hell Discord, and I was like, so, and I got like 3 different answers. Anyways, we're gonna save that chicken just for the fun of it. And we're gonna head into the depths area. The depths is the final area of the game. We have 3 boss fights ahead of us, and then we're done. The one thing we needed the grapple for is gonna come up here. The depths, I kept calling it the depths, it's the abyss. I am gonna grab the save point here for safety's sake. There is a pretty scary screen coming up here. But we will see the grapple in use right here. You grapple to it and dash off, and you'll carry a lot of your momentum. You'll start to see these ghost enemies, and we're gonna get really, really acquainted with them. As you can see, one just immediately got a pot shot right off, right off the bat. And this is the scary screen I mentioned here. There's gonna be a beetle that immediately tries to blindside you right here. I'm gonna hug the right side and hope for the best, but we're about to see a ton of enemies start appearing. There are these frogs that shoot out shotgun bursts here. There are these pigs that'll get a bunch of different things all at once here. And I'm like at the edge of my seat right here. And it's not just the fact that I'm like caffeinated for 2 people. But we're gonna get to a upcoming boss arena. Now, remember that guy I mentioned, Pork Chop? Well, unbeknownst to us, he died because this arena is the boss fight for Pork Chop's ghost. Luckily, with the ultimate ability, we get to skip it again. So, poor Pork Chop, but we're not gonna kill him either time. And now we have the boss fight with Satan coming up. Satan is a little bit tricky. He has a couple different patterns that he can use. We're gonna hope for the best that he wants to stick around because he likes to teleport and he likes to throw a lot of bullets at us. So we're gonna hope for the best. Satan's got a lot to say, you know, he's the devil. So he's gonna play nice, he is gonna teleport right at us, and we're gonna hope that he throws up a bunch of bullets. Nope, he's gonna be unkind and throw up the rocks. The rocks are really, really difficult because unlike everything else in the game, I can't shoot them. So we're gonna have to stick our face right in his face. Anyways, we're back in heaven. This is heaven, right? I remember heaven just like this. I don't know about you. And we're gonna go see God. God promised us a reward if we killed Satan. So we're gonna go right back up the same gates we walked through at the beginning of the game, and we're gonna go say hi to God. So turns out over the course of the 10 to 12 minutes we've been doing this run, God has learned that apparently humanity is corrupt, and he's decided that I'm just gonna get rid of all of them. We're just gonna start over. And Azrael is the only thing standing in his way. So now we have a boss fight with God. And just like everything else, we're gonna kill God. So God on his deathbed over here is like, do you think you're gonna kill me? I don't think you have the skill. So we're gonna use our Halo one last time time is coming up, by the way. And time. So what else to do when you kill God? But this is a long transition. But become God yourself. Let me get some GDQ honks in chat. Anyways, that is bloody hell any percent. It's been a pleasure. It is very surreal to be here in person. The last time I had an in-person GDQ run was SGDQ 2015. And obviously that was 8 years ago. I want to give a big shout out once again to the team over at Pun Intended. This is an incredible game. And the fact that it is free is still mind-boggling for the amount of stuff you could do in this game. I want to give a big shout out to the Bloody Hell speedrun. The Bloody Hell speedrun team, especially that the devs are hosting it through their Discord. And I just want to thank everybody again for watching. Continue supporting this awesome charity. And it's been a pleasure once again. Thank you so much.
All right, yeah, let's keep it going for BystanderTim and Bloody Hell. That was incredible. Really well done, and more love coming through, including a call to action from BystanderTim that is being met by the Knight Who Goes Knee, who donated $25, saying, I too enjoy chaos. Leave the shepherds, in relation to the Loom bid war we have going on. But before we get to Loom, we're going to take another little break here. Feel free to get up, stretch, maybe defeat God on your break, and we'll see you on the other side. All right, welcome back to SGDQ 2023. How we doing, late night, early morning crew? That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear. We are currently getting set up for Loom, but before we do that, we got a couple donations. We had $50 come through from Ledshep saying, "You are the one," in reference to that incredible Bloody Hell run we just had. Thank you so much for your donation. We also got $20 from Beef saying, "First time dono from the UK, glad to be helping. Also, this game looks great." Couldn't agree more. Wanted to remind everyone as well, we do, of course, have the bid war open for Loom. Save the Shepherds versus Leave the Shepherds. Save the Shepherds still currently in the lead, but good news is you still have some more time, even during Loom, to turn the tides if you wish. So continue to get your donations in, and let's see if we can make that, maybe get a last-minute switch here going on. $10 comes through from Cosmic as well. In preparation for this run, Cosmic says, "Ask me about Loom." I think we'll have some questions about Loom. I think we will have some questions. $5 from Rain B00 saying, "Trans rights and cheers to the singular audience member at the time, keeping the hype going at this unlawful hour." Good news, we are expanding out here in the audience, so we're gonna keep that going right along. Trans rights! All right, without further ado, it is time for the game that Orson Scott Card says is like nothing you've ever seen or done before, a work of storytelling art. Let's see if that's true as Ella Motas takes us through Loom. Take it away.